Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Go on and hit that like, share, and subscribe for more content. We're trying to grow the channel. Appreciate it. Alright, today we're going to go over two kits, kind of one kit. We have some bad weather rolling in on us, some winter storms for the next week, off and on. So just thought I'd take this time to go over, recheck everything periodically, do an inventory. Haven't gone through this kit in about a couple months, so I just want to make sure everything's topped off as far as power, which that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about emergency power. Now, I'm not going to dig everything out. Keep in mind, I have a power bank generator. I have an actual generator. I have enough DeWalt batteries laying around here to power up a nightclub. But we're just going to talk about portable stuff for emergencies. If you got to leave your home, if you have something that happens and you lose power in your town or whatever. We're going to talk into my emergency communication plan for if the power goes out. Now, living out in the Rockies, there is an issue that I've had for years off and on is when there's bad winter storms, all the cell towers and stuff like that are always up on top of the mountains. So you may have a cell tower that's set at 10, 12, 13, 14,000 feet up in the air, which can get crazy cold. It can get ice, snow, stuff like that. It can cause power outages on the cell towers themselves, and you can lose cell communication for 2 or 3 days. And I have family that's scattered all over the country, so it's nice for me to be able to communicate with them and let them know that we're okay, and if something happens to them, I want to be able to communicate with them. So that's part of this kit. So let's dive into it. Okay, now keep in mind this has been put together over many years, so I don't expect anybody that's new to the channel just to jump into this and buy all this stuff right out of the gate. This has been stuff that's been for many years. This is pre-2020 stuff. So I try to keep all my stuff in action packer tubs. They're easy to grab, organize, to keep mice and bugs and stuff from getting in and ruining your expensive stuff. Also, it's easy if I want to leave, I just throw this in one of my vehicles and I'm ready to head out of town. So the first thing I keep in here, we're going to go through this one by one and try to get through this and make it not too long, but we're going to do it a little fast. This is not all inclusive, so don't be in the comment section ranting and raving about you left stuff out. I have stuff scattered in bug out bags. I have stuff scattered in campers. You know, I have all kinds of other stuff. This is just the kind of the surplus stuff that I keep as backup just for the house. All right, keep it. This is a Noah crank radio. It runs off a solar panel, batteries, and you can crank it and picks up, you know, pretty much anything you need. It has a light on it, just your standard emergency radio that I keep ready to rock and roll. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, I use these Streamlight Sage lanterns. I have 4 or 5 of these. I use them for camping and emergency stuff. This one lives strictly in this. But I realistically have 4 of these, so I have enough that pretty much I can light up the whole house. If you put them on low setting, they'll run for around, I think, like 50 hours or something like that on the low setting. So if you need to light up your house without using candles and don't want to risk burning your house down, super great. And I have rechargeable batteries for this with my solar systems, so power is basically unlimited. Now, this is the Faraday bag. Supposedly, this makes your stuff EMP proof from an electromagnetic pulse from either a weapon or a solar flare. I don't know. There's mixed reviews on it. I have a buddy of mine that's an electrical engineer and he swears up and down that it will work, so I'm going to go with him. But this is what I keep in here. So in here I keep a brand new Goal Zero Nomad. This is the battery charger guide. Nomad. I have a Nomad and I have a guide. This is the guide. I have 2 or 3 of these, but this is like the one you've seen in my bug out bag. But this is brand new. It just sits in here just for emergencies and to be protected from an EMP, if you will. You know, it has rechargeable AA batteries, you know, solar kit, everything you need to have power inevitable, just as a backup to the backups, I guess you would say. And here's some spare batteries that go with it. More spare batteries for the charger system. And I keep an emergency flashlight. I have 4 or 5 of these. They're just great little lights. They always work when you need them to. They have a light on the bottom so you can see your feet and still see on the top. Just keep that in there to have like I said, an EMP, an emergency. I have a flashlight in there that supposedly wouldn't be bothered. Who knows whether to buy a flashlight or not. We use these at the fire department. They float. They're semi-waterproof and they're very durable. What I love about them is you can wear them. If you need to be hands-free, you just clip it on here and you get your little light that'll shine out, and you have options with them. They're great lights. Used to, you could pick them up around 30 bucks, but I think I got like 4 of them scattered about. Keep one by my bedside. Great lights. I have Gold Zero rechargeable AAA batteries that go with the solar panel kit, so there's some more of these in there. Keep these little spare battery canisters, little holders in here with some odd and end Duracells that I've just stored in there. And the reason I have these, I have a huge pack of assorted batteries, but if somebody comes over in my house and they need batteries or something, you know, I have some spare cheaper batteries that I can give them. If, you know, I try to have enough I can always help out other people. I'm not giving them my good stuff, but I got stuff I can share. Here's some little aviation battery holders, some more D batteries for the lanterns and stuff like that. If you need to go put these in your pack, these keep them from rolling around. They're pretty great. More battery holders I keep in here, spares. These are just some spare lithium Energizer AA batteries I have. I keep all kinds of assorted, you know, watch batteries and stuff like that for weapon lights like EOTechs and stuff like that. Trigicons, well, my Trigicon doesn't use a light, but you get what I'm saying. Holographic lights and stuff like that. Plenty of, so I keep these little packs in all my, pretty much every bag I own between my hunting pack, my backpacking, my bug out, my EDC. I always keep CR123s in these little holders here, just scattered about. Now, this is one of my more expensive things in this bag. This is a Crane radio. Now, keep in mind, I already have another emergency radio, but this is a full spectrum band radio. They're about $130. They'll pick up, you know, AM, FM, all kinds of other stuff. And supposedly, you know, you can, depending on where you're at, you can pick up television. You won't be able to hear it, but you'll be able, I mean, you won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it. So, pretty expensive, and that's why I keep that in this little hard case. More CR123s. These are the big kahunas. These are little weapon boxes. I have tons of these for actual ammo, but all of these is lithium. So these are all Energizer lithium batteries. I store these where they're heated because I don't want these staying out in the cold because lithium will lose battery power if it's stored in the cold. But I have AA and AAA batteries, so about 50 AA and 50 AAA lithium batteries. This will power pretty much anything I need for a very long time. I also have some of these we keep in our TV stand for remotes and stuff like that, and they kind of have a mixture between, you know, the regular batteries and lithium. So I have probably, at any given time, I have probably 300, you know, assorted batteries on hand. All right, last but not least, these are my emergency communications. Now, in the event you had to leave your house, power outages, you don't have cell phone service, you know, stuff like that. I have Baofangs. A lot of other people I have Baofeng and ham radios and other stuff like that. These are Motorola two-way walkie-talkies. These are the Adventure Expeditions. They are stored in Faraday bags so they don't get damaged. But if you have to leave and take two vehicles, you have multiple people with you, and you need just communication, there's no cell phone service or whatever, I store these in that. So I have 4 of these. They go, you know, they're not as good as some, but they'll go about, well, out here in the West, where if you're out down like a valley floor or out in a desert, you know, you can get 6-7 miles, pretty much curvature of the earth. Up in the mountains, you're probably going to get maybe a mile line of sight if you're in trees, a lot of timber and, you know, outcroppings. And, you know, it's really hard to get out with these if you're back in the mountains. So like if you got somebody that's out on a peak and you're back within like a draw or something of a mountain, you're not going to get that good a signal. But for just around the house, or, you know, if you're going to go in your neighborhood or traveling, they work pretty great for that. So I have 4 of these. Supposedly they float and are semi-waterproof. I'm not going to test them out. I store the batteries outside of them so they don't get a vampire drainage on them. I have backup batteries to them. I have the adapters to where I can run them off of the rechargeable batteries. Okay, so last but not least, this is probably one of the most important things as far as communication I have. Okay, I'm going to show you what's inside this box. And I take this with me quite a bit. This is an Inmarsat satellite phone. So why do I have a satellite phone? Well, numerous reasons. A, I spend a lot of time in the backcountry up in the mountains, like you guys know. I like to be able to check in with the family, check in with the wife, check in with anybody I need to. I can send text messages just like some of the Garmin stuff, the inReaches, which are great. They track your location, yeah, but you know, sometimes I want an all-in-one. I don't want to screw around with this little half stuff that syncs to your phone. If something goes down and I want to make a phone call, I want a sat phone. So this runs off of 2 or 3 systems, the Galileo system and some others. So I have multiple satellite networks this will run off of, to the best of my knowledge. I'm not a satellite phone guru, but I've had this for about 2 years now. There's some different plans. If you want to go from like 150, which is the plan I have, so I get 200 family share plan minutes a month for 150. And I also, if you go down for just a single, you can get like around $50 a month for 100. I pay for 2 satellite phones, so I have some with my parents that live on the other side of the country. That way, if anything ever happens, I can always get in touch and check in with them. So I don't want to screw around with playing a guessing game if something happens, whether or not my family is okay. The signal on this is really good. I use this, I take this with me every time I go backpacking. So, you know, at night, if we're up on a mountain or something, I can, you know, check in and, you know, check in with the family back home, make sure everything's okay. I'm always in reach. Even if I don't have it on, it stores the text messages. So anybody can just text this phone just like a regular phone. So when I turn it back on, you just want to have a clear view of the southern sky. Once it sinks in, you're ready to go and get ready to rock and roll. I will say if you get one, you probably do better. It's easier if you put it on speakerphone, so you're standing out there and you're actually, you know, talking like this. That way you can maintain, you know, good signal with the satellites. But I've honestly never had a problem with it not picking up. Even surprisingly, even in a moderate snowstorm, you can still get signal. So, you know, definitely works out good. One thing I have noticed, I was in an area for a few months where the cell phones got bogged down because nearby there's a wildfire about 50 miles away and a town was having to be evacuated. We were traveling through there. And I noticed that the cell towers was getting kind of overwhelmed in the area because everybody was just making phone calls about this massive wildfire that was potentially going to burn up this town. Luckily, they got it out, but long story short, the cell towers were getting overwhelmed because of the wildfire. And I didn't have to run around confused trying to figure out what was going on and not make a phone call like a peasant. I just picked up my Gucci satellite phone, made a phone call, figured out what was going on. Everything was great. So point in case is, if you can afford it, yeah, they're expensive. Would I recommend it if I didn't go out and spend so much time in the mountains and backpacking and stuff where there's no signal? Probably not. It's very specific for me, you know, because of what I do for recreation to the extent that I do, and the fact that I want to maintain communication with people, you know, 2,000 miles away. If something happens, it's worth it. The other great thing is you can have it closed up like this, and if you'll notice, there is an emergency beacon on this. So all you have to do is pull this little tab up, push the button, and you have an emergency beacon that will go off. It will pick up anything. It will drain the battery more quickly. There's 2 modes on. There's low mode, high mode, or whatever. But you can hit the button on this and it'll send out an emergency beacon, and you will get somebody, depends on where you're at, somebody that will come to you. A lot of people buy these for like sailboats and go down the ocean, but it is phenomenal to have the capability to just take charge of a situation and make phone calls. The other thing that's great, a lot of people use these in third world countries where there's wars and stuff like that because, you know, cell phones can be shut off by the government there or whatever. These are international, so, you know, you don't have to worry about if you're in some third world country and something happens and you need to make phone calls to get out. You're independent of local authorities. Do with that what you will. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's not all inclusive, but this is just me kind of going through stuff, getting ready for some snowstorms we got possibly in the future. So if you found this content helpful, enlightening, enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe to help support the channel, and we'll see you on the next video.